Hello, welcome in. Get out the cold. Remember, shoes off at the front door. Get some snacks and come take a seat and join us here in the Music Shack with both
Ray.
and Jack. And we're here. We're here the day before the Tortured Poets Department. It is finally
I'm so
here.
excited. I mean, you guys obviously saw our reaction to the announcement and everything like that, and I like, it feels so exciting that it's coming out tomorrow, so we had to do like something, talk through all the theories and all the exciting things before it comes out. And I'm sure like some of you guys are watching this on Thursday, some of you guys probably watching this after the album comes out, so you're just like laughing at us for how wrong we're gonna be about whatever shit we talk about. So you know.
Yeah, because we're doing this. So we're doing this on the 13th because there's like a couple of weeks where like we're not going to be around. So the week of the album releasing, obviously this will be on the Thursday this comes out, the 18th. So the 19th the album comes out. Ray is away, and I will be here, but we're not obviously going to be able to record until the week releasing of the third, not on the of the second. So on the second, it'll be your reaction to the Tortured Poets Department, which we are extremely excited about. I will probably be doing a live reaction to it somewhere, and I think Ray's going to try and record if she can, which we might put together like a small video just to like sort of give her like an idea of her reaction to stuff. But
Yeah.
all we can do right now is speculate and get excited, and I don't know what to say. It feels like this rollout has been happening forever, and it feels like it's come so slow, and this might possibly be her best project
I have high
ever.
hopes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say, okay, like, I've said this to you offline, and I can't remember if I've said it on the podcast or not, but like, just from what we have seen, and, like, I know, like, I probably said this about Midnight's too, because, like, the way the cover photos were and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, just from what we haven't heard anything, but, like, I just have this feeling that this is going to be, like, a 10 out of 10 record from Taylor. I'm I'm upset that she won Album of the Year with Midnight's, because obviously we have so many incredible albums releasing this year, from Ariana to Billie, Dua, um, Beyonce, and like all of those people are going to be nominated for Album of the Year. And if Taylor wins again, even if she deserves it, it's going to cause a lot of discourse online, and like, especially because she won last year. And I think if she didn't win last year, it would have made a win for this a little bit easier. Granted, I have no idea if it's going to be a Grammy worthy album. So, like, Grammy winning worthy album, like, we haven't listened to it. I'm just, like, talking. Um, but I'm sure you guys will hear our thoughts when it actually comes out. But I have really high hopes. What about you?
Like, I think the topics, we sort of feel like she's going to be talking about this on this album, and
Mm-hmm.
like how like the explicit songs, the lens that we're going to get into. Like, I think just from the expectations we have coming into this album about what it's going to be about, and the theming of the album, and like the way it's been rolled out, is like something that like is fully in term, like, if I'm speaking selfishly, I love sad slow music, and like this sort
Uh-huh.
of this style that it looks like it's going to be, and I just cannot like get it out of my head that this is genuinely going to be the most perfect album ever, and I'm going to be really upset if it's not. But I think like it's really hard for her to like talk about this album so much and the way she spoke about it, and not feel like this is going to be something that is genuinely going to like is deserving of like album of the year. And I think I fully agree with like what you said about how obviously
Uh-huh.
she won it this past year, and it's a little bit worrying of like, if she wins, say she wins it for like this, for Tortured Poets Department, and if it is Grammy like worthy, like how is this going to come across? But like, it's sad because it might genuinely be fully deserving, and not that Midnight's wasn't, but against like SZA, like SOS was such a astounding album. Like, it's hard because I genuinely don't know how I feel when it comes to that. But I think from what we
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm excited. It doesn't feel real like it does. It's less than a week away, and or
Yeah.
like it's tomorrow if you're listening to this. But I don't know, we might be fully wrong, and it might be like, it might be, I don't think it's gonna be rubbish, but it just might not be like the best thing ever. But I think
Uh-huh.
that's the vibe I'm getting, and I might be wrong, but I'm
I
going for
I
it.
mean, like Taylor herself has compared the album to Red. It is her first breakup album since Red, pretty much. And like I think like it's going to be interesting. I think the record is really going to shine on its own. She is so good at telling these stories. I think almost since Red, I I think Reputation had it for sure. Lover not so much, and even less so other albums. I think Folklore had it, but like Evermore, Midnight's not really. But Taylor has like struggled to have like a cohesive album. She's had albums that have incredible tracks, but they don't feel cohesive front to back. And we just listened to Lizzie McAlpine's Older. We're going to be doing a review of it next week, but like to me, like that album is like the masterclass to how to make an album like cohesive. And I feel like between like the 5 stages of grief and like everything that we're getting from her about this record feels like it's going to tell us a story. It is going to be a cohesive piece of work, and to me that's what an album is. That's the kind of album that deserves album of the year. And I am really really excited to have something like that from Taylor. We keep talking about these playlists, so I want to get into talking about the playlist. So Taylor released 5 playlists on Apple Music with a little message at the start, with the 5, each one of them talking about the 5 different stages of grief, and then like a lyric from each variant of the Tortured Poets, essentially. And then a bunch of her tracks that she feels like encapsulates that. So the first one is Denial, and the lyric for that is I love you, it's ruining my life. And most of the tracks on this are like her love songs, which is interesting. Like there's a lot of lover tracks in here, like Lover and False God and Cruel Summer, Willow, like songs that we definitely associated with Joe and like her being like love. But it's definitely just like Denial and Delusion. Now she's accepting that it was that. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, so the tagline, or what our message says in this album, or for this album, so obviously these were originally released on Apple Music, and people have transported them over to Spotify. Thank you so much. So the tagline is, this is a list of songs about getting so caught up in the idea of something that you have a hard time seeing the red flags, possibly resulting in moments of denial and maybe a little bit of delusions. Results may vary. From what we're getting from it, there's a lot of like, oh my god, you should have seen Twitter. The day that these dropped, like, everybody was freaking out. And I think I definitely thought a little bit, and I was like, it made me realize, or like sort of take a step away, because I was like, hold up. Did we look at Lover wrong? And like, was she trying to like lay these plants for us in Lover and like tell us a little bit of like the story? But then you're like, Jack, like, take a step back. No, like that's not what she's trying to say. I think it's like, obviously it's the denial of it, like looking back in it, and it's like this is what she was feeling at this moment in time. But these are the songs that sort of represent and like talk about kind of the whole like denial, and like just have like like these songs aren't written about like say Joe or the situation that's going to be about TTPD, but it just gives like an insight of like the feelings and sort of the vibe of like these like sort of
exactly
like these these like themings of the album. And the songs are really interesting on them. Like, it's really interesting to see what she classifies as these different like things, right? Like the next one, I'm not doing these in order because I cannot remember the order for the life of me, but the way I have them up is, the next one is Anger, and Anger you don't get to tell me about Sad. The fact that you see, like, obviously these songs don't come across angry, but like you have like Illicit Affairs and Exile, and like obviously in the songs like the theming is angry, but it's like the way it's sung obviously isn't like that. But the way that on this, like, there's obviously no lover songs in this. There's like surprisingly no rep songs on the anger playlist.
So like there's no rap songs on any of the playlists. There's also no debut songs on any of the playlists. She didn't include any songs she doesn't
Because
own
she doesn't own
on.
them.
Yeah, not because
Smart.
I'm sure there's definitely songs
Oh yeah, rep
that
would
fit
be
into all these
full of
categories.
anger.
I don't know. To me, rap is like a love album more than Lover is.
I think there's female.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, we're not getting into that's another topic.
Anyway, we're not having this discussion. But I agree. Like a lot of these songs, like you said, like a lot of these tracks are like they're not all about Joe. Like I mean, there's like songs that on here like Better Than Revenge. Like she wrote that before she even knew that Joe existed. Like, I like they're just describing that feeling and that feeling that she's felt not just in her relationship with Joe but with other things in her life. I mean, like vigilante shit is not about Joe. It's about, you know, Scooter Braun and whatever. I but like that's she gets angry when that's the theme of the song. And the same way that like the Denial playlist, and I think people were really into the Denial playlist on Twitter, like I've seen like Instagrams of people being like, I wouldn't want to be one of those girls who use Lover at their wedding. And I'm like, Lover is still a love song.
Yeah.
Like, just because she wrote it about Joe doesn't mean that it can't be a love song to you in your relationship, because her and Joe could have, like, that could have been the foundation of an incredible relationship. And it could have also been the foundation of what ultimately ended up happening. Like, it's not a cursed song. Like, she literally says in her tour, like, I want you to, these songs were once about me, but like now I want you to think about these songs in your life. That's why Taylor makes music, not because like you need to know every little detail of her life and then like that's what the song means. Because if you think like that, you're never going to enjoy music of any other artist, because most artists don't share that much about their personal life like Taylor does.
Yeah, I was like the whole lyrics of like I'll save you a seat and stuff, and people were like, he never shows up to anything, and like rightfully so. Like we obviously we know he didn't like go to
It's just hindsight.
tours and stuff, but it is just like, yeah, it's just it is hindsight, and it we're gonna hear it all, and
yeah,
like I pray for that man, because I
this
don't
is
know.
a side note, because like you're right, we're gonna hear about it all. Like this, we're doing the speculation about the album, but like the speculation about what happened in the relationship really pisses me off, because like you said, we're gonna hear what Taylor wants to share with us when we listen to the album, and that is what we will get. And like there's gonna be so much shit and speculation on the internet about it, and I just know that, and we will talk about it when it happens, because we're gonna be pissed. But like it's also like upsetting because it makes the album about him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, this album's about her and about her accomplishments, and we don't want his name to trend and him to like all like become more popular because of this, because that's like not the end goal. The end goal is for us to enjoy the music, and for other people going through a similar heartbreak in a similar situation and can relate to the music and can come back to it when they need it. And that's why Taylor's music is so great, is because, and that's why so many people love Taylor's music, is because she can cover all of these different topics that we're talking about, and like you can relate to it at any time in your life. And then like that's why she makes music, not because she wants you all to like pitchforks storm Joe Alwyn's house.
And I think there needs to be a line drawn of like, she's going to tell us stuff in this album, but the stuff she doesn't tell, like, this is where we're not going to go digging.
Yeah,
like,
that's like pretty much exactly, yeah.
Because like I know it's gonna happen, and you pretty much like, I mean, we've said this since the start. I think it's like, obviously this always happens, but she's gonna tell us a lot. She always does. Like she tells us kind of how she's feeling, and that's like, it's fine. But there's been a lot of obviously speculation around like why the album's releasing on the 19th, and like sort of what happened in the relationship, and like, look, she's gonna tell us. Like I think Taylor does a really good job at telling us and like keeping things really like, the stuff she wants to tell us, she does it really well. So I think if something did happen and she wants to tell us, we're gonna know. And like, you can, I think there's always been this thing of with Joe, or like even just any person when it comes to it, it's like everybody loves them, and then the second that like they end, like they turn everything they used to say they loved about them into like a flaw, and like that's fine, but it's also like,
yeah,
I don't think you should be attacking them for pretty much just like we can joke about it being like, oh, Joe's finished after this album. It's like whatever, like that's a joke. Like it's like he's still a human at the end of the day. Realistically, like I don't know what he's done, so I might fully regret saying that. But like I think we just, I don't know. We don't know people, right? We only know the art.
I just think like he's obviously like a shit guy. Whatever happened, like just don't make it about him. It's not about him. It's about like
Taylor.
It's about Taylor, and that's great. Anyway, the next song is about bargaining. The next playlist is about bargaining. I think the song choices on this are really interesting. Peace to me, like, she obviously wrote about Joe, but like that's like probably like the biggest red flag I think most people like noticed when with Taylor and Joe was like when Peace came out, and it's like she tried to give him everything, and like it's just so sad, like and the one thing that Taylor like couldn't give him was what he wanted, and that's why they were never going to work. But I don't know, she was trying to bargain everything else and like hope that it would be enough, and it's sad.
Yeah, and I don't know, just seeing her put this on the playlist it has a different feel to it. Like obviously this is what you've just said, like when this came out, this is sort of like what we were sort of thinking about how things were, and like obviously this is where a lot of the speculation and stuff started, but I think the way there's something different about her putting these on and like putting a feeling towards these songs outside of like who like how they were, like who they were or what they were at that time, is like her like reflecting and like putting a different meaning maybe to some of them, and like maybe just like theming them how they were originally themed, but now like actually saying it instead of not being like saying it originally. Like she wouldn't come out and say like, oh, this is like a song about like bargaining and like about how like like she wouldn't back then, but it's like I don't know. And this is me trying as an interesting one, because obviously this is me trying, it's, I wouldn't say it's bargaining. I think it does sort of come across as bargaining, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's really, I don't know, I just like the way she's like, I'd love to like understand why, or like.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm like so interested like how these topics are going to be reflected on the album, and I'm not sure they will. Like we don't know that for sure, because so just not to jump around before we finish all, but like she did say that like she saw that you know, Swifties were theorizing about the 5 stages of grief. So she became interested in that, and then so she chose the playlist. Like it was her response to Swifties theories, not Swifties theories being right.
Yeah.
Like it was her being like, oh, I actually like this idea, so I'm gonna do it. So it means that the album, which was already complete, like may or may not reflect any of these ideas. But it's still interesting, like what songs she's put on here. I think it's interesting to reflect on that before we hear the album, because we obviously have all these previous works that are about Joe, and then like understanding how they fit into the story today with hindsight is pretty cool. But the next playlist is Depression, Old Habits Die Screaming. Jack, you want to talk about this?
What, the album, the playlist, or just the feeling?
Yeah, the playlist.
Okay.
No, it's just not. This isn't therapy, okay?
Okay. I'll just wait until ttpd comes out.
Yeah.
Again, this is ultimately these playlists just come down to like I really want to know like why these things were placed in these areas, and it makes sense for some of them. But then like Bigger Than the Whole Sky is on here, and obviously that's one of those songs that was like had so much speculation around it.
Yeah.
But the topic of it is like obviously and is like a depressive nature, like it's a sad nature. It's like pretty much all the sad songs are on here, and of course You're Losing Me is on here, and I'm quite surprised that like maybe I put This Is Me Trying on here, but I don't know. I don't know. Some of them are interesting because like Nothing New is deserving to be on here. The fact that she put All Too Well on here but didn't put the 10-minute version is interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're probably both. She wouldn't put both. I don't know why she put one over the other, but
Unless she did, but these are like someone over replicating them, so maybe they just put the wrong one in. But
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Carolina's in here. I don't know. There's obviously like my main question behind these playlists was how do we think it's going to tie into the album? But obviously you've just spoke about that. But because originally when we seen the track list, then you see kind of the sides of like how it's going to play out on the record. So like obviously side A, side B,
Yeah.
side C, side D for the whatever. So you kind of be like, how is this going to work? Or like between the variants having different like secret songs on them. Like, are these secret songs going to relate to the theme of like the album due to the color of the record that like links to that stage of grief? And it's like, is that going to be the case? Like that one track is going to be related to that term, or is it just going to be like fully away from that? But like, I think what you said is obviously it was like her like taking a theory that the fans had made and making it into something more than maybe it wasn't originally meant to be. So like it probably isn't the case, but it would be interesting. And that's, I think, out of everything, that's the thing I really want to know is like what the tracks are going to be like, because there's obviously a reason why they're on that specific record.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
I don't know.
I'm curious. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't know if Taylor does like her track listing with as much intention as some other artists, other than like track 5 obviously. And so I'm curious about like what the storyline of this album will be, and like if it's going to sound cohesive or more all over the place. So we'll see. The last playlist is Acceptance, which is where, she says, where we can finally find acceptance and can start moving forward from loss or heartbreak. So there's a bunch of songs on here, like The One, Long Story Short, like very reflective songs. And I think I Forgot That You Existed is such an incredible one to put on Acceptance. But I think that's I think it's interesting. These playlists are definitely. I'm interested to see like how I'm gonna feel about these playlists after hearing the record, to be honest.
It's gonna change a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I just can't wait, man.
Me too. I'm so excited. But anyway, the track length. So, as Jack said, that like this is a long ass album. It's 2 LPs.
Did we get a final like album length? I could tally it up, 60.
Yeah, 65 minutes, right?
Yeah.
65 minutes. Which is long for these days. I think it's honestly a good album length. Like that is how long an album is to me. Like between 45 to like 90 minutes is how long an album is in my head. But some artists have decided that it's not that. Anyway, that's not the point of this discussion. So in terms of the track lengths, most of them are pretty standard. There is the Tortured Poets Department, which is almost 5 minutes long. Notably, a lot of them are over 4 minutes, which like every single song is long. The only one that feels short is I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, which is only 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Yeah, I think the longest song on the album is Who's Afraid of... No, It's But Daddy I Love Him at 5 minutes and 40 seconds, which is also a long ass song.
It's gonna hurt.
So
I think that song is gonna hurt.
yeah, I'm so interested. Like, these songs are long, but I'm interested if they're long because they're long lyrically, or because like there's a lot of production on it, like there's long outros or things like that. I'm just so curious. I'm just so curious about the sound, and I don't have many expectations about what it's going to sound like. I feel like in my head it's going to sound like folklore, but also like I don't know. Do we have information on the producers for these tracks yet? Like, are they produced? Is this all produced by Jack, or I don't know?
I've seen theories of like Aaron and Jack, but
so
I don't know.
We know that like this album was written, like at least part of it was written while she was on tour, and we have those photos of her like going in and out of the studio in between tour dates.
God,
and
we
most
thought
of
that
those
was
were
rape. How
how
crazy.
we were I don't know, we kind of thought like it was a new album, but we never thought that whatever it was going to be released during Eras tour still.
The girl really said, let's make a full tour about this albums that I have, and then let's make one on the actual middle of the tour and extend the tour until 2025. So like, I don't know.
It's kind of insane, honestly, but I'm quite excited. I think like, because obviously she was going in and out of Jack's studio in New York. Aaron could have been there. We don't know. So I'm gonna say like some of these are gonna be produced by Jack, at least some of them. So I'm curious like what the sound is gonna be. Like, it might actually be more poppy if they're produced by Jack. I hope there's like some good vocal layering and stuff on there, because like that's one of my favorite parts. Of Taylor songs, when that's in the production.
I hope
so
there's, like,
we'll see.
More seagull calls and like.
Shut up.
No, I think this album's gonna be more sonically beautiful, and like it's gonna have a lot of tail offs. I don't think with these longer track lengths it's gonna be like from start to finish singing. I think there's gonna be a lot of like, not dead space, but like tail offs, intros, like,
and instrumental.
This is gonna be like folklore times 100 with like Red mixed in, and like with Jack's production
excited.
And like
it'll be good.
I don't know. I definitely don't think I don't know if Aaron is much of an opportunity, because I think Aaron's been spending a lot of time with Gracie and working on hers. But I don't know when this was. This was obviously during tour, right?
This was before. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Aaron works with a lot of different artists already, and so does Jack, right? So like, I think that they'll both make time for Taylor if Taylor needs them, regardless of anything else. I don't know, but like, we're gonna see who's producing on them, and it could be someone else completely. So we'll see. But yeah, I think the track lengths, there's nothing super surprising on there. So the lyrics. So she posted this on the eclipse day. She posted this typewriter thing of some lyrics, and it says, "Crowd goes wild at her fingertips, half moonshine, full eclipse." It's interesting. The part that stands out to me is that this is written in third person. She's obviously talking about herself, but it's written in third person, which is like, I don't know. I don't know what song this is going to be. Like, maybe it's Clairbeau. Maybe she's talking about Clairbeau.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe, but it could also be like Florida, like if she's talking about a show. It might be something completely different. But the third person part is what gets me.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking up to see the whole, like, when you said Clairbeau there, I was just checking to see when moonshine was a thing, because I don't know, like, obviously that could relate to the alcohol, or like, not, I don't know if it's an alcohol, I can't remember, but I don't know, it's interesting because it is the third person, and I think if you were to come at this with no understanding that this was going to be about who, or like what it's about in the time period it's about, you would kind of think maybe like she's trying more of like what she was doing on folklore, and this could possibly be the thing. Like, this whole album doesn't need to be about her, right? Like, I obviously think this is about her, but like, we obviously, with her saying it could be like Folklore Red, like Folklore was pretty much all about other people and like made up stories and obviously a bit about her life, and people tuned in as well. But she has this ability since folklore and since the pandemic albums to reach into other people's like stories and create stories from like people that are she's made up, and like create this narrative in this world. So who knows? I genuinely don't know. The third person thing has thrown me off though. That's why I think it's like, but then Crowd Goes Wild at Our Fingertips could be about like at a show, yeah. So like,
yeah.
But I'm just trying to think about the Half Moon Shining Full Eclipse part of it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We'll see. Yeah, we'll find out. The alcohol part like that you mentioned is an interesting thing to think about, but I don't know. Obviously, like, there's some other speculation happening online as well. So today, the day that we're recording this on the 13th, when you come out, you'll probably when this comes out, you guys will have the whole puzzle, but like we don't, so I'm sorry. But Taylor Nation posted a Instagram reel from Apple Music, and it had like the Tortured Poets, and then it like glitched, and then people went to the lyrics of Glitch on Apple Music, and certain letters in the lyrics were capitalized that weren't normally supposed to be, and if you put those letters together, it's spelled hereby. So that's the first word, and then they also said that there's going to be some more words. There's going to be one word every single day until the album comes out, and it'll probably come up with a phrase. Jack, any theories on what this phrase will be?
No, because I feel like hereby is so wide. Like, how, like, is it going to be something like that's to talk about how, like, it's to do like something hereby blah 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 album? Like, is it to be like announce the album? Is it to say something about the album, or is it going to be like, I just don't know. There's so much it could be.
I saw like, so obviously there's like the number 2 theories, like something has to do with the number 2, but we don't know. Some people are saying like something's gonna happen at 2 a.m. on the 19th, which will be interesting. I don't know if that's true. I have this. I'm a truther for that. Like, it's gonna have to do with like Fortnite, and it's gonna be like 2 weeks after the album comes out, something's gonna happen, and they're gonna announce it through this Apple Music thing. Like, that, like, there's something's gonna happen, and then I don't know.
What, Fortnite the game?
No, like Fortnite.
Oh, Fortnite the times. All right, okay. Sorry.
The time, because that's the first track on the album.
Sorry,
right?
you said Fortnite, and my brain, I was like, I've not played it in a while, and my brain's like in the brain. I want to go play Fortnite.
So true.
No, it's I don't know, because
join our Discord and we will play Fortnite with you. Like, actually.
Well, there's
no joke.
There's I think with Fortnite, so we're fully on Fortnite now. Just really quickly, the festival pass runs out, I think, a day, or is it a day after or a day before the 19th?
A day after, yeah.
So like, and we thought this Fortnite festival pass was going to be Taylor. But I don't know.
I would be shocked if Taylor is on the Fortnite Festival Pass. This is such a, like, sidebar. Most people don't care about this. But, like, I'm going to be pissed, first of all, if she's on the Fortnite Festival Pass. Same. Because that means we're going to have, like, 30-minute queues just to log on to the game. But I have V-Bucks, so I will be purchasing whatever skin if that's the case. But I'll honestly, she doesn't need that promo. Like, that's the thing. She just doesn't need it. I just want
to play Taylor Swift in Fortnite, that's all.
I know. She's not doing, like, anything. She doesn't care enough to add her music to Fortnite.
I just want to walk about in, like, Speak Now era. I want to walk about in, like, a cardigan, like, pulling 90s and, like, jump into my Evermore outfit. Sorry.
I need a cardigan skin on Fortnite. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, we're fully distracted.
We're distracted from the topic, but it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with the 2 stuff or this Apple Music puzzle. Honestly, we're just like reading shit, and then we're just like, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, because nobody knows.
The 2 thing is interesting though, because they keep alluding to it, and it's not. We thought it died down, but it's just not. And it's I have no idea what else it could mean other than like a a double album or like something 2 days after,
Yeah.
2 weeks after. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know, and like
So
I don't know.
so remember that day when Taylor went live and then she never announced
Yeah.
anything?
Mhm.
And then her shop was down,
Mhm.
and the so the website code said for the error code was 2 months from now, and that was on March 2nd. So
Okay.
so 2 months from March 2nd would be May 2nd,
And
which is
she sung 2 rap
conveniently
songs.
2 weeks after the Tortured Poets comes out, which is also like that's why I really believe in the 2 week theory.
Can I say
because like
something really
yeah.
controversial?
Okay.
Can we just let ttpd breathe, please?
Oh, yes.
Like, this is, I really want rap, and like I fully agree with like the theory, like that's actually a good point, but I'm like, people like,
I think
I
that
don't know.
like begging for I honestly don't think it's going to be rep. Like, but it maybe it could be rep, because I think it's like it's weird that like she was like almost teasing rep so much,
Yeah.
and then we had like the website go down, and then there was the thing that was like red herring. So like rep was like the red herring because of the Tortured Poets.
Yeah.
But like, what if the Tortured Poets is the red herring for rep? And like, I don't want to be that person. You're right. Like, I hate those people who are like, oh, we're gonna just talk about the next album now that this album has come, and like Easter egg hunters and shit, and like that stuff never existed like pre TikTok era Swifties, and I hate that. But this feels more intentional than people just pulling shit out of their ass.
Yeah, no, I fully get that, and I 100%, like, if she has planned this, so good, but I'm just worried that like, because it's like sort of taking over so much of like
Yeah.
this release already, I'm like, if it is rep, that is so good, and please believe me, I am so happy. Like, I love rep as an album.
I think it's more likely to be just like a deluxe version of the album, or like something else. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be rap, but if it is rap,
Oh yeah, we'll be eating it up, but
yeah.
not too many variants, please. I'm poor. I can't afford it anymore.
True. The last thing is like, before we sign off, is she released some signed versions of the album. Pretty hard to get, as expected. I mean, like, it's crazy because I know both me and Jack like remember how easy it used to be to get signed shit for Taylor.
Yeah.
Even like in Midnight's era, it was easy, and like she was still big then, but it was easy. Like, that shit sat on the shop for so long, and now like people are selling it for like $1,000 online. It's crazy.
Yeah. So they dropped today initially on the US store. I wish they would stop doing this. They initially launched on the US store, and then they dropped a signed manuscript CD with a hand signed photo, yeah, the signed one, and then the manuscript vinyl. Keep in mind they are quotation marked with the manuscript and like obviously the variation of the vinyl, so I kind of think there is going to be 100% different variations of signed ones coming out. But that is also 90,000 signed photos just for the US alone. So there's 100% probably. Yeah. The thing is, so they distributed it really weirdly. No, it is so weird. Like, I seen a video of her doing the Lover ones, and she said there was 20,000 there. So like the fact that she's jumped that much up from Lover just to meet the demand, and it still hasn't met the demand is crazy, because that was only in like the US. So she done, obviously.
Was it? Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was just what was loaded on the US, and then she went up and done the Germany store opened, and then the another store opened, the France store I think, and then the UK store. Keep in mind that all of these stores sold out in a minute, so they had like I think no stock at all. They whereas the US had
Yeah.
90,000, and it sold out in 50 minutes. The CDs sold out in like 8 minutes, but the vinyl took 50. CDs and vinyls sold out in the US, the UK, the Germany, the France store in like under a minute. So
I think it's really interesting. So the way that this stuff works is Taylor's going to sign them, but she probably signed them all in the US. She might have signed some while she was on tour in like Australia and stuff. So like there were a bunch on the Australian store. So those ones she might have signed while she was on tour there. Same with like Singapore, Japan, like those countries. She might have signed them while she was on tour there. But the rest of them were all signed while she was in the US because she hasn't, as far as we know, hasn't left the US since she got back from tour. And that means that all of these art cards have to be shipped to and then repackaged to whichever country they're in. And that's a lot of time and effort and a lot of work. It's a lot of work for her to sign them, but also a lot of work to relocate the art cards. It's probably why the US got so much more than everyone else. But I can understand that, but it's also like, then don't just limit it for US customers only.
Yeah, well,
right? Like,
yeah. That's what we
because,
didn't
like,
say, but they were limited. Yeah, sorry, they were just to jump in. They were limited to the US customers, or like the customers of that region that the store was accessible to. So there was a bunch of regions that didn't get access because they didn't have storefronts. Sorry, sorry.
No, you're right, and it's like a good way to stop scalpers. I think that's great, but it excludes a ton of fans who don't live in the countries with storefronts. It's tough. It almost puts like the shipping burden on the company for these signed variants when, like, I know in the case of Maisie, like, for the Good Witch, she had like a tour in Australia and Canada and America and the UK, like, while she was on tour, she signed the associated amounts of art cards for each country, so they didn't have to ship them out. They were just there already. And obviously Taylor wasn't in a situation where she could do that, but I just think that then they could have just sold them all on the US shop and made everyone else pay shipping. And I think that honestly that would have gone over better than putting them on international shops later, where like bots had the opportunity to prepare for it, first of all, and then second of all, like, not giving them enough stock that it just sold out right away and just getting people upset over nothing.
Yeah, I don't think, obviously it's hard, right? They're trying to combat. They had like a captcha thing on. I used to be like a huge hype beast when I was younger, right? And I bought Supreme and Palace and dealt with captchas and dealt with bots and dealt with everything in like 20-second, 10-second sellout times, like 5-second sellout times. But I literally cannot tell you how like different this is, because I know a lot of fans don't come from that perspective of like having that experience, so like it hits them harder and they like almost feel like blame themselves. And I'm like, no, you genuinely don't know how fast these people are checking out and like what they can do to get these items really fast. And like when this region stuff isn't locked, they can just get like reshippers that then they ship to a certain address and the person reships it to them if that is a case that they need to go through. But like it's hard to battle, right? It fully is. Like bots and resellers are so hard to battle, and it's something that we're gonna have to deal with now as like our audience grows, and it's like it feels like inevitable. But I just think the way they done it today was like good in some areas, but the whole region locking, I feel really bad for people that don't have access. Like that's the hardest thing. Like I tried to go for one, didn't get it because I was at work and had really rubbish connection and it sold out in like less than a minute. But like for the people that could have had the ability to get one, can't get one, that's the people that I feel so bad for, because it's like they don't even get the chance to be like, oh, I went for it and didn't get it. It's like they just don't have, and I know this sounds so silly coming from that perspective because it's a bit of paper with a signature on it, but it's like, I don't know, it means a lot to us like as fans. Like this is like our connection to Taylor, I think, is, and it always has been. Like it's special to have that one thing that just represents the album that you love or you don't love or whatever. Like we obviously don't know how it's going to be, but like these albums, we take these albums and take these meanings of these albums into like multiple different things that we like feel about these albums, and like having a signed variation is just something that makes it a lot more special. But it just all I can say is don't buy from the scalpers. There's already been some restocks today. I doubt there's going to be any more restocks, considering all orders probably have been cancelled. But
I think
we'll probably do them in the future.
The biggest thing is to keep your eye out for, like, if you're looking for them. Obviously, like, this is releasing well after recording, so this may have already happened, but she might release signed versions of the other variants, so it's always good to keep an eye out for that. And I think it's a tough situation Taylor Nation are in, because they're probably like the only merch store that has to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I did see a tweet from somebody, Stace on Twitter, that I think is really important to talk about, and I think this applies for tour tickets, it applies for merch, it applies for everything. And like, I know it's hard, but this is what she said. She said, "This is controversial, and it'll shake up a few people, I'm sure. But yes, it's absolutely possible to not keep scalpers employed. We all want the highly sought after Taylor Swift items, myself included, but we are the problem. It's called self-control to not pay a scalper 10 times the face value. This is why it'll never get better, because we keep buying into these shitty scalpers. It stops with us, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. I never want to hear y'all bitching about scalpers when you're literally employing these people."
Yeah. And
yeah,
fully understand that there's nothing more you want to do than just like panic and buy something while it's a wee bit lower, because they don't know the pricing of it yet, like how it's going to do in the market.
Yeah.
But just look, we've seen these Christmas sales and everything and stuff gets restocked. Like, I know it's impossible even when that happens, but they have more of these things. They just don't do them all at once.
They don't. Exactly. I think you have to remember, something that says it's sold out, it's never actually sold out. Like Jack said, the midnight sign stuff, like, it came back over Christmas. Yeah. Like, so much signed stuff came back over Christmas. I know it's hard to get then, and it's hard to get. Same with the cardigans. Like, they bring back the cardigans every year for Christmas, and they're always hard to get. But they always come back, which means they have more of them. They make more of them. So, like, there will be a day where, like, you will be able to get it. And at the end of the day, like, personally, like, I'm not as much of a collector. I don't have a complete Taylor collection, so maybe I can't speak to this as much, but like, having a complete collection is not worth giving somebody who just owns a little merch bot to like $1,000 of profit just like that. Like, we shouldn't be keeping these people employed. And I think if Swifties could really come together and be like, we are not purchasing anything from scalpers, and let everything from scalpers just sit on websites and never get bought, then hopefully things would stop.
Summed up.
Because like, even if I think that's the problem. Like, if I didn't get a signed vinyl or a signed CD, but if I knew that every single other 90,000 of the copies went into Swifties' hands, I would be okay with it.
Yeah. Right?
Like, it would suck, but at least every other person who got it was a Swiftie. But knowing that, like, probably majority of them was scalpers is what makes it shitty.
Yeah, that's the part that hurts, because you go instantly onto eBay and you just not buy, but just look and you're like, this is ridiculous. But I don't know.
Anyway, we kind of went on a tangent, but I hope you enjoyed our ttpd pre-show, and we hope you enjoy the album when you listen to it tonight. And come back in 2 weeks for our breakdown. Come back next week to listen to us talk about Lizzie's Older. So much fun things happening, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, enjoy it, and we'll speak to you then. Let us let us know how wrong we were in the comments, please.
Yeah.
And we'll cry, and well, actually won't. We'll be too busy crying at the album. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Please look after yourselves and enjoy. And bye.
Bye.